While in Atlanta, the question was, who will sit on the school board? And pretty big deal since members have a huge impact on Atlanta students and taxpayers.
As Atlanta News First Bridget Spencer tells us, it was a good night for some familiar faces already on the board.
Well, this is an election that directly affects your students in the classroom. Voters decided to keep some people in place. Former Fulton County Superintendent Ken Zeff is the new face. He was elected as the District 3 representative up against incumbent Michelle Olympiades. For District 5, incumbent Erica Mitchell secured 70% of the vote against Raynard Johnson. Incumbent Tamara Jones led District 7 with 48% of the votes, but it was close with Alfred Brooks trailing behind her. This race likely leads to a runoff in December. And Jessica Johnson won in District 9, securing the majority of the vote there. District 1's Katie Howard ran unopposed. This board has a big responsibility overseeing 50,000 kids and being responsible for a $1.6 billion budget. They also will have to hire a new superintendent. Last summer, the board decided not to renew Lisa Herring's contract, bringing in Dr. Danielle Battle in the interim. Now they're being particular about who they will put in place permanently.
I am looking for someone who is laser focused on reading and who does believe that every child can be taught to read.
We're preparing to really do a full overhaul of our literacy and math curriculum components, and we need a leader who understands the governance functions.
New board member Ken Zeff tells me they plan to hire the next superintendent by next summer. In Midtown, Bridget Spencer, Atlanta News First.